self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists.
What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am Calamity Red.
And we are Conversation Con Artists, back for another wonderful, fantastic episode. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. MISTER_on point and on TikTok at Eddie B Talking and Eddie B Eating.
And I can be found on Instagram at red_calamity. We basically, the whole show is the listener letter. So if you want us to respond to a Reddit letter, a comment about a previous show, whatever the case may be, you can either contact us on our aforementioned social media, or you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartist@gmail.com. So a couple of things before we get into the Reddits. There was like a pause and a break between when y'all heard about us doing the hot sauce challenge and then now because it's been like a week, but the show came out a week later. So, but we did do it, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. The last 5 hot sauces from Hot Ones are really meant to just be fucking hot. Like, they're just meant to like fuck your mouth up, because you can't do anything with them. You couldn't cook with them. You couldn't use them as dipping. So like, it's just for the benefit of the show. Like, there's no way that there's anybody, unless you're a psychopath, that's got these hot sauces in their cabinet and pulling them down to eat with their fish. So
some people like that kind of stuff.
But that shit it's unnaturally hot. It ain't even no. You have to be, because how much of that could you eat in it before it start impacting your health, I wonder. In some kind of way. Heartburn or something.
It won't.
Really?
I looked it up before we started because I was like, what are the odds of peppers giving you a heart attack? And it said peppers have a very low likeliness and very low correlation to having cardiac issues or body issues from Scoville. Like, it's no evidence to support that it will. Just hot. It's just your taste buds reacting to something that it don't normally get. So people who eat a lot of hot stuff, a lot of hot stuff, at some point, they probably can taste the flavor in it. But us, we just tasted hot shit.
It was just
especially hot. After number 4. When it got to that clear oil looking sauce, I was like, that shit really be stupid. Hey, y'all, I got a secret, though. Something that Leroy Ketchum was doing was he bit 3 times and then swallowed, and I was like, if you gonna do this challenge, make sure you keep the heat at your tongue. You don't want the heat to go to your throat. Okay?
Oh God, because I did that, and
chew 30-something times. Chew. Let all of the sauce diffuse in your mouth, then swallow. Leroy Ketchum looked like he was like, and I was like, oh, bro, you swallowing too early.
It was tragic.
But that was my little secret thing. You know, I didn't find out until the end that I think it was working for me rather than against me. So it's not, not like I was trying to keep secrets from everybody. But it wasn't bad. Yeah, Leroy Ketchum said ice cream helps better than milk. That was true.
Yeah.
And
I did get ice cream.
Publix chicken nuggets are ass. They were good for this because they had heavy breading. Don't buy them. Them shits is 50%. That box was 50% bread.
It was
50%.
Yeah, we did not do it with wings. Like, this was a very like low level version of this, because they have like wings and some of the people eat the entire wing, and I just knew we were not gonna do that. Like, we were not gonna eat whole wings with this fucking sauce on there. You just weren't. Even if you're somebody who feels like it's a waste to waste the wing, it was too hot. Like, once we got to about 6, you just weren't gonna be able to do it. You just weren't gonna be able to fucking do it. It was just too hot. So these were like bite-sized bites that we were doing of these hot sauces, and they were that fucking hot. So I can't imagine eating a whole wing, but it was fun. It was fun to see everybody's reaction and just kind of do it as a group. So that was cool. But we did do it, and they are hot as fuck, and they are meant to be hot. If you're somebody that really likes hot stuff, I guess at some point you would have been able to get to the flavor. But for me, it was just hot. I couldn't even tell you what the flavor, because they send you a card with what all the notes in it are supposed to be, and yeah, I couldn't taste nothing but hot. So I don't. That shit was wasted on me.
And the hottest two weren't as hot as some of the other ones. Scovilles don't seem to be a real measure of how hot it is. It's probably something biological as it pertains to the pepper or something where they come with that number, but
Yeah.
I don't think it always translates over to hot the way that we interpret it by looking at the Scovilles.
No, because even on the show, number 8, which is the bomb, is the one that everybody has trouble with, and it's the 8th one. They have more trouble with that one than they do the very last one, which they don't even have a Scoville rating for the last dab, which is the Apollo something. It doesn't even have one. It's got it had TBA beside it for the Scoville. It didn't even have a fucking number. But it wasn't as hot as the bomb to me. So I don't know. It was hot. It was fun though. It was good fun. We didn't record it. It just wouldn't have. It probably would have been funny
exciting
to watch back, but it would have
I
been
don't
funny
think so.
for us. But I don't think anybody would have gave a fuck about watching it outside of
Yeah.
the group, because it wasn't that interesting. But anyway, also before we get into the Reddits, we had a request to talk about something from Shogun, a government name podcast, which is back. If y'all didn't know, they've been back for I think 2 weeks now. So they're back to doing the episodes with the show. But so apparently there is a retirement place in Florida, and I'm not surprised that this is Florida. There's a retirement place in Florida called The Villages, and apparently there is a loofah code that they use. It's a swinging community apparently. Now this is somebody okay, let me read what it is, and then I'm gonna read what somebody in the comments, this is on Reddit, said that actually worked there. But so apparently what you do is you hang a certain colored loofah outside of your car, outside of like your little space, to let people know what you're into. White is novice or beginner. Purple is a voyeur and people that like to watch. Pink is soft swap, people who like to do it with others in the room. Blue, lowest level of full swap, those who can play well with others. Yellow is mid-level swap, for those who want to have fun but are still nervous. Black is full swap, those who say the hell, let it all go down. And then teal is bisexual, for those who want to increase their dating chances.
This go ahead.
Now, there's a person in the comments that said, I've worked in the Villages for over 3 years, and this is a myth. The reason for the loofahs is simple. It's so they can find their car. All the retirees drive similar cars and can't go around the whole parking lot looking for their car. So the loofah is an easy way for them to spot it from a distance. Trust me, all the people I have met are definitely not swingers, as most can barely stand without assistance. He said, unprotected sex and STDs is a huge problem in the Villages. I know for sure there are ways that individual couples use to find partners. This just isn't one of them. They are much more subtle than that.
That would be odd for a retirement home in Florida to overtly and everybody in the community know that they putting loofahs on their cars for sexual engagements. That is a little extreme for anywhere in the South.
Yeah. Now,
even though Florida is the pseudo South.
Yeah, Florida is a whole little place unto itself. But old people fuck, if y'all didn't know, nursing homes, retirement villages have high levels of STDs and I wonder if that will change. Like, I wonder when our generation gets to be old and we're in nursing homes if that will change, because you got to understand these are people that come from a time where getting pregnant was the worst. You didn't want to get a bitch pregnant. That was the worst thing you could do. You're going to have a shotgun wedding. It's going to be embarrassing. And so they're not concerned about STDs. These are women that are postmenopausal and they can't get pregnant. So they're not worried about protection because for them, it's protections used to not get pregnant, as not as much as so for like not getting the STD. But I wonder, because we do know and are more concerned, will that still be the case? Will people still just be like, gosh, you can't get pregnant, so fuck it, when we're in the retirement home?
Yeah. You know, it gives a different perspective of like the idea that like as a man, it's like when you turn 50, your meat gonna stop working, you know, and you know, I guess the lady factory, I imagine, don't produce as much as it, you know, will when you're 30, when you're 60. But like,
Yeah, but they have
is it like,
medicines for
because
that.
I'm wondering, is it
People
like,
take Cialis and the blue pill. Them people like.
well, I'm just wondering, like, are they having sex out of like pattern? Like, is it like trying to start a fire, rubbing a stick to stick together? Or is it like really these two people who shit work still and they really getting it in pleasure, you know? Or is it like people just trying to find that connection? Like imagine somebody being promiscuous their whole life, you know, and becoming old, and it's like at a certain point you just still want the validation that comes along with that kind of engagement. So I can see it being for pleasure, but also for validation, you know. But I don't know why you do it if it's like rubbing two sticks together. I guess like who do they get to order them lube? Can they order their own discreet Amazon box
I'm sure
packages?
they can. You're an adult.
I wonder
You're
how many
just
of
an
them old
adult that
ladies
needs
got a
help.
rose.
I'm probably not, because they wouldn't know about it. Like, you gotta, lube existed, they would know about that. Like this new shit, I don't know that they are on social media to be finding out about this new shit. Like I just can't see that part. But like lube, I can see them ordering.
They probably got
But
an
no,
old wooden dildo from 1976.
I would hope not. I would imagine that'd be disgusting.
Not, I mean, coated wood, treated wood, not like.
Still,
What you mean?
wood from 1967 that's been going up a vagina the entire time. You don't
Yeah,
think that it would have some bacterial, because it's not, it may be treated wood, but it's still not steel or plastic or the things that the new stuff is made out of. I cannot imagine that would not be like a
it depends on how
bacteria
you take care
minefield.
of it. It's like when you buy some wooden utensils for
They're
the
not
kitchen.
like rubbing it down in oil to
They
preserve
might
it. I
be.
think.
It depends on how the person take care of it. They can be.
I think they just buy a new one or a newer, like the silicone version. Like I just highly doubt they still be doing that.
I feel like if they doing that, then they know about the rolls.
I don't think so.
If they buying new sex toys, the only place they going to is Amazon. And as soon as you go to Amazon and put in sex toy, a roll, 3 different versions of a rose pop up.
But
I
then
mean, they
they're
might
gonna
not know what the hell it
know.
is.
That's why I don't think that they're gonna order what looks like what they know. The rolls don't look like what they know. I don't know why they would order that when it's not anything like what they would be accustomed to. They're old people like what they like. So they gonna get one that look like a dildo. A rose don't look like that. Rose, they probably be like, what the fuck is why? What is this supposed to do?
You know, old ladies probably got a 14-inch suction cup
Okay,
BBC that they
this
got in the damn shower
got really
that they got
weird.
to get up from their damn shower assistant's chair to use.
Okay, but yeah. So apparently this is a myth. This is actually happening at this place, but old people do have sex. Like there is a high level of STDs at retirement homes, at like nursing homes. Like they are
So,
doing it.
so we know there's a high level of sex. I wonder what's the rate of like high level kink. Like this whole thing is a kink list. So I wonder how many people in there are actually like couple swapping and doing the stuff that's on that list, just not as overt as using loofahs on their car to do it.
I wouldn't imagine it would be high because you ain't gotta think about when these people were young. Again, for us, sure. Yes, when we're in the nursing home, it'll be a ton of that shit. But it's a lot, all of that shit is so much more accepted now that I just don't think that it's a high level of that among the people that are old right now. I think it'll increase because you're gonna take whatever you did in your youth with you into your elderly time. So, but they wouldn't. I just don't think there is a high level of it. I would be surprised by that statistic if it was high, because I just can't imagine that, especially not here in the South. I just can't imagine it would be.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it'll grow because as we become older and all of the shit that we do, we gonna take that with us to the nursing home. And so then maybe, but now I can't imagine that it would be. Um, but yeah, he wanted us to talk about that. So if y'all see something interesting and you want us to talk about it, just shoot it to us and we'll talk about it. There was one of these Reddits that I picked that because I was like, what? What are you talking about? Maybe it was this one. Would I be the asshole if I, a 26-year-old female, pulls my money out of my friend, a 27-year-old female's business, if she starts selling shameful items like condoms and lube? Bitch, if you don't sit down, you gonna invest in her business and you gonna pull your investment because she's gonna sell condoms and lube? Girl, shameful items.
Clearly, she's a Jesus enthusiast.
Let's see. Because what kind of business is it? If she's going to sell condoms and lube, I would assume it was a business that would make sense for her to add that to. So it's like, why would you be surprised? But let's see.
I mean, I understand if it was a 14-inch suction cup dildo that you use in the shower.
What is with you in that specific dildo today?
It won the lottery. Verbiage lottery.
They're not American. They're not originally from America. Let me say that. Because they start with English isn't my first language, so I apologize for any errors. So I don't know
where they from. Well, I mean, I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Where is sex as shameful as America for conservative
there's
Christians?
Tons of people. Places anywhere in the anywhere in like a Muslim-based country is gonna be that way. I think most places, sex outside of marriage is frowned upon. I don't know anywhere where it's like, yeah, fuck all you want. I feel like most cultures don't like that.
Maybe it'll give us a hint when they read it. Maybe if they say my friend is named Malika Shabazz, then we'll know that it's like a Muslim.
Yeah. Let's see. I helped my friends start a somewhat successful nighttime / odd hours grocery delivery business around some universities in my country. Well, bitch, it makes sense for lube and condoms. She's delivering goods to university students at odd hours at nighttime. Bitch, yes, that immediately makes sense that she would add lube and condoms to that.
I don't feel like at this point that there's anything that can be said that will make what she's about to say make sense. Like, ain't no room in capitalism for morality. None. Like, if the supply or the demand is there and you got the supply it. If everybody wants a 14-inch suction cup dildo that you can use in the shower, then why not provide the thing for the people?
I'm going to continue. I managed the business for the first 6 months, personally delivered goods at odd hours, and gave her around 80% of the starting capital to get going. I have no ownership stake in the business. I don't expect anything from her, and I did all this as a favor to her. Some people do know that I helped her. Recently, she told me that there is a demand for a shame items like condoms, lube. Oh, plan B. She wouldn't even spell out the words. Okay, I'm having to try to figure out what these are because she has like a couple of letters and asterisks. She wouldn't even spell it out. This is how much she's bothered.
Oh my
God. I can't even type it.
God.
She got asterisks everywhere, but this plan B.
See it through the asterisks. Oh.
She even put an asterisk in toys. She didn't say sex toys. She just said toys. Well, because they're sex toys, she put an asterisk for the O in toys. Like, girl, calm down. All right. So she told me that there's a demand for ashamed items like condoms, lube, Plan B, and toys in our city, which can't be bought easily, and was planning to start delivering those items discreetly. I don't like that. I am unmarried and I don't want my name being dragged into those kinds of shameful things. My parents have started looking into marriage proposals for me. This has got to be over in like a Muslim based country. Who,
Malika
because they're the
Shabazz.
only ones that still do that, aren't they? I mean, maybe Indian, like not Native
India
American.
do arranged marriages. I
So
don't know if
India,
Muslims do arranged marriages. I don't know if. Wait,
they do. Like there was a, I watch a lot of YouTube channels.
I'm
There
thinking
was
of
an honor killing.
Indian Muslim shit is the same. I'm thinking about.
What?
I'm thinking about. What am I thinking about? I'm mixing up cultures, man.
I mean, Indian cultures do still do that too, but Indians aren't Muslims.
Hindu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put my money on it. Some kind of Muslim based place with an arranged marriage. Her parents are looking into proposals for her. So I don't want my name being dirty.
No, Hassan Minaj had an arranged marriage. No, I think his parents bought an arranged marriage to him, and he went to go find a woman who was even of a different religion to marry. So
Hassan and
I think it could be any of those cultures. He's he had a Netflix show, and he's a comedian basically.
Oh, okay. I do know who you're talking about. His marriage is arranged.
No, I think he told a story about how his parents was trying to arrange him a marriage.
I mean, they do it too, but the way that she's talking about this makes me feel like it sounds more like Muslim than it does Indian. Like dirty in her name, because they still do honor killings. I don't think Indian people do honor killings where you ashamed the whole family and you gotta die.
But I mean, I guess that, but you also got to talk about a place that where people are comfortable enough to express some interest in condoms and stuff. Like, I don't know why it would be such a big market for people trying to get condoms in a place where they kill you for sex.
If they're not sold anywhere else, she gonna make bank because there are people
what I'm saying is, I think there's a smaller overlap between a country where they'll kill a woman for having sex and sex tanks you, and the demand for condoms being high, versus a place where they do arrange marriages but don't have that stigma on condoms and stuff. I would think it would be more so the Indian culture versus the.
We'll see. She did some
arranged marriages versus the other one.
She did some edits, so maybe we can figure out what culture it is from there. But let me finish. My parents have started looking into marriage proposals for me, so I don't want my name being dirted at this time. Even if my name wasn't being dragged into these kinds of things, I would still be very uncomfortable with just my money being used to deal with those kinds of things. I immediately said no to her, but she didn't seem happy about it and wants me to reconsider. This is all very new for me, as I didn't think she would consider selling them. It has made me see her in a different light, and I don't think I can continue to support her with a clear conscience. I am tempted to ask for my money back, but I feel like it would be a bad move. My initial amount is still worth about half of the company's current capital. She is also planning to pursue a master's in the USA next year, and she is using the money from this business to show financial for the visa. If I ask for my money back, it might be a setback to her. I really don't want to do that, but I cannot continue supporting her in good faith. I know if I ask for my money, it might be the end of my friendship. That was the end of that.
That's the edit?
No, that was the rest of the letter. I hadn't finished the letter. This is the edit. Because the amount of money was large, I gave it to her with a notarized contract to protect myself. Legally, I have the right to ask for the money. Either I can ask for it all back with a 3-month notice, or I can ask for a schedule. Before this, I never intended to ask for even a cent back and always intended to write it off, essentially making it into something like a gift. I will not be asking for any money back for both our sakes, but I made it clear to her that she should do her activities discreetly so that my name would not be even marginally involved in those kinds of activities. I also made it clear that I would not help her further. She did another edit. Why I don't want my name associated with those kinds of stuff? Gossip here travels quite fast. My family is a rural family, not an urban one. If any of my relatives learn that I have any kind of involvement in buying and selling those kinds of stuff, they will massively pressure my parents to disown me. Also, I will be known as a loose girl in some of my social circles. It will be very hard to get a job or even a place to rent in the same area. My marriage prospects would also be ruined. That still sounds
Overkill. Hyper paranoia.
But that's what makes me feel like it's like more Muslim, because I feel like it's overkill and hyper paranoia for us, but like they do that shit, you'll die in some cases. I don't know how strict Indian families are. And I mean, those two are not the only ones I'm sure that still do arranged marriages. Those are the only two that came to my mind. But I don't know. It's hard. Is she an asshole? It's hard to say that. From my American standpoint, yeah, girl, you gave her the money. She could do what the fuck she want to do with it. But like, if I lived in a place where this could fuck my entire life up behind this shit, I kind of get it. I get why she would be upset, because she's not just upset because she's selling these shameful things in general. She's also upset because of what it could do to her if it comes out that she helped her with this endeavor. So I don't know. It's hard for me to just be like, you're a dickhead for that. Because I don't live in a place where anybody gives a fuck. I can sell whatever I want to and it'll be fine.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the other person is really trying to have some black market items on sale. Like, I don't know. It's very risky for her friend to do it anyway, if how paranoid she is about it is the reality. I'm inclined to believe that she is hyper paranoid about the idea that it puts a negative spin on her name to be connected. I'm leaning towards she's more paranoid than it is the reality, because like, why the friend don't have no hint of paranoia?
Where is that? Well, let me see, because I found out. Let me see where this is. I've heard of this place, but because they in the comments, I guess, found out or asked her somewhere in the comments, how do you spell this? Taiwan. Bangladesh, which is in Asia, is where she lives. And
What's the religious breakdown in Bangladesh?
No. Let's see if this 91% Islamic.
Bangladesh.
Yeah, 91. Let me see. Where was that about the religion? Climate, biodiversity, military, corruption. Where in the hell? I saw the little thing. I'm looking at urban centers, like religion. Islam is the largest religion across the country, being followed by about 91.1% of the population. The vast majority of Bangladesh citizens are Bengali Muslims adhering to Sunni Islam. The country is the third most populous Muslim majority state in the world and has the fourth largest overall Muslim population. So she may not be exaggerating. So this person, I guess, is okay. Let me read what this person said. But why should this poor girl be the martyr for the cause? Do you all not get how unsafe it would be for her if she were found out? I completely agree with what you said, but this girl did not sign up to be the sacrificial lamb to slaughter here. If she is found to be associated with any of these products, she will be dishonored, lose all her marriage prospects, marred, and maybe even cast out of her family. She did not sign up to champion this cause just as it is. Unless any of you are willing to sponsor her in your safe country compared to the third world, corrupt country she lives in, I don't see how in any world she could be an asshole. Because when she is inevitably disowned, I hope one of you will find her a place to live and recover the lost relationship with relatives if they haven't already made a plan to perhaps even kill her. It is so easy to sit behind a screen and condemn people for not doing the right thing without realizing the realities of these actions. She didn't ask for any of this. So yeah, she's there in Bangladesh. I just sound like her level of fear just sounded, and that's not to be a dick towards, like, I know that Islamic culture is not all that, but like whenever I think of like somebody being fearful for their life because behind some shit, that's what comes to mind. So it's hard for me to say she's an asshole. Like,
So I guess it's probably the rare occurrence that her friend is trying to be the goddamn big boss in this motherfucker. Like, she ain't worried, she ain't scared. She just like, look, we finna sell some condoms to these motherfucking niggas. It's like drug kingpin type shit, drug dealers. Like, she's dabbling in some shit that's really dangerous. And if the OP's perspective of it is like legitimately the reality, then yeah, her friend is unreasonable for expecting her to participate in that shit like that.
Yeah.
But there is a sliver of a possibility that she's more paranoid than the environment expresses. Because again, if that's
Indian people in the comments are saying she's valid in her. This also an Indian woman here. I get what you're saying, and in Mumbai, I agree that I see condoms and similar things in stores. But for this case specifically, who the fuck cares how progressive India or Bangladesh or whatever country has gotten if the person we are supposed to be advising specifically says that these consequences are plausible for her? Birth control isn't immoral, but come on, dude, are you really going to sit there and tell me that if her parents / grandparents and the parents / grandparents of the potential groom, the people who have a huge say in whether or not the marriage takes place, are going to be as accepting of her being associated with the shop as we are? My family is considered progressive, but even I hide anything sex related from my parents. It irks me that everyone's saying South Asian countries have gotten more progressive and talking about condoms in pharmacies are conveniently ignoring the fact that the friend also wants to start selling sex toys. What pharmacy or general store do you go to that has sex toys out in the open? Are sex toys also as destigmatized as condoms? Because I think not. Yeah, it's people going back and forth. Some people that are from South Asian countries, and then of course Americans are dicks. So
yeah, well,
we can
you're
only
the
see
entitled.
things from our perspective and not understand that other people don't have the ability to do the shit that we do. Like, it sounds good to say, well, I wouldn't give a fuck. Yeah, okay, and then you be dead. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it sounds good to say that shit until you in the situation. Okay, when I read it, I was thinking like Christian. Like, I wasn't even considering that it might be another religious issue outside of just somebody that's like, Jesus wouldn't like that. So I was thinking it was an American issue.
And it's less religion than culture, even though I'm sure the religion influenced the culture, but like that part of those areas is more cultural now than it is. Like, more cultural social norms than they are like pulling out the Bible on your ass, making you get a purity ring type shit.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. It get back to that conversation about like how it's crazy how women hold the burden of responsibility on that shit,
Oh yeah.
Because for every hoe there's a hoe maker. You know what I'm saying? Men just don't get the goddamn. They don't get the stigmatization that women get on it. So it's like, if you really wanted women to be virgins, you would stop men from fucking.
Well, no, because the women are supposed to stand up for their own virtue. What kind of woman are you if you're gonna allow a man? It's so annoying. Like, being a woman is so exhausting for so many different reasons. That being a main one.
Rape would decrease significantly if the government issued everyone a Saturday night special to pop a nigga in the stomach if you goddamn go aboard, and it's legal to do so in that event.
There'd be a lot of dead motherfuckers.
It would be, but it's a really big it'll be hard to discern and understand. I don't know, man. I've been watching videos about sexual assault and stuff, just continuing to get differing perspectives. And this social game we play regarding patriarchy, where women are like, they don't be the aggressors, they, play coy, and it's like a role. Like, it's some women who will grab you by the collar and say, come on and fuck me, but the game we play will shame that kind of woman. And so she got to sit over on the corner being quiet, acting like she don't want to do nothing, while a man's supposed to be making those decisions. And that be blurring so many lines, and sex ain't as clear cut as, okay, I met you tonight. For example, the video I was watching was using the Aziz Ansari situation. Do you remember what was going on with that situation?
No.
They met at a art event and they had a camera. They both had the same old ass camera, and they talked about being photo enthusiasts or whatever. And they hit it off real good that night and went to his house, and he just started being fucking weird. He was like taking his two fingers and shaping them like a V and trying to put them in her mouth, and was saying stuff like, hop up on this counter. And then she hop up on the counter and he said, now you want to go fuck? And then it was at one point where she was clearly trying to get out of the situation, like, without, making motherfucking mad. And he was like, she said she didn't want to have sex, and he was like, okay, how about the second date? And she was like, perhaps. And then he poured her another glass of wine, and he said, if I pour you this glass of wine, do it count as the second date?
Oh, for God's sake.
So sex ain't even as clear cut, because you meet somebody at the club and you don't be like, hey, let's go home and fuck, right? Sometimes the vibe, people are still, women mostly, but people are still assessing if they want to have sex with you as the night progresses. There's a point where it gets to where this is a good idea, I want to do this. That a man can fuck up if he don't let that shit play out the way that it's supposed to play out. Like, these politics be making it hard in this situation to kind of like, because there'll be a lot of motherfuckers who be getting shot in the stomach who, if you saw a video recording of what happened, it was like, you shouldn't have shot him. You know what I'm saying? Or the gun preserved for when, you finna get assaulted behind a dumpster after a party. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly that's a clear-cut case of shoot this man in the neck. I don't know.
Do you have any?
Let's see. My pattern recently has been doing one, and that's it. Am I the asshole for not canceling my plans after my boyfriend learned about his diagnosis?
Yes, immediately.
Well, we don't know what the diagnosis is, though.
If you're asking,
this man might have an infected hangnail. Like, if you got an infected hangnail, I am not canceling shit for that.
But you're not gonna consider yourself being an asshole. Exactly. Like, you're not gonna cancel it, and you're not gonna ask if you're an asshole. I feel like if she's asking, it's because,
I don't know. It's a lot of baby ass entitled men who be trying to get their women to cancel their plans in all kind of different ways.
Read it.
But
read it. I get. Go ahead. Read that.
Okay, I ain't gonna worry about the other one.
Cause she asking, it's gotta be, he gonna have cancer or some shit, and she gonna be like, well, it's not gonna change if I go to this thing. He's still gonna have cancer. Watch.
I, 25-year-old female, work in event planning, so I always get invites or tickets to go to high-end events. There was a huge event coming up that I was really excited to go to. I asked my boyfriend 3 days before the event to accompany me, and he said yes. So originally the plan was my boyfriend, my stepsister, and myself to go. On the day of the event, he said he had a doctor's appointment, so he even isn't sure if he can still attend. I said, no problem, and I waited for him to return home. A couple hours later, he texted me and said he had something to tell me. I got worried and called him immediately. I asked if everything was okay, and he said he was diagnosed with anemia, so he'll have to take supplements. I expressed how sorry I was and spoke to him for about 2 hours, gave him pep talks, told him I'm here if he needs me, reassured him that I will always love him. I then asked if he would still like to attend the event with me to take his mind off of things, to which he responded that he doesn't like the art of performance, so he'd rather go to another event. I said, no problem. I'll go with my stepsister alone. He got upset and hung up. I called him back, but he started an argument about how I'm selfish for going out while he's going through something. I told him that I already made the plans with my stepsister and I can't back out now and she's depending on me. I also don't drink, so I have been the sober driver. If I didn't go, she couldn't. And I told him that this event is the only event my sister really wanted to attend, and I promised her that I would take her months prior. I even told him I'll see him the next day, and he said, be safe, and hung up. I got to the event around 11 and spent the entire event alone, just sitting down watching the show by myself, having food and drinks. When I returned home around 2 a.m., I called him and he was awake playing video games. His first words were, look, who cares about me again? I said, I'm too tired for this. And he responded by saying that, of course, I'm tired. I went out with him knowing he's upset. I went without him knowing he's upset, but I love partying and meeting new people so much that I didn't think to stay with him on the phone. I told him he's being ridiculous and I would have stayed if it was just us who planned to go. He said, my priorities are off and I'm ignorant as hell. Keep in mind, I don't attend parties unless it's with my family and I only attend events a few times a year. So am I the asshole for not staying on the phone with him and attending the event instead?
Well, I was wrong. Anemia. Anemia. Yeah, how many millions of Americans out here walking around with goddamn anemia?
Like, don't call me to cancel my shit for something you can take supplements for, nigga.
Anemia.
Like if I'm gonna cancel for shit, you need to call me and tell me to come to the hospital. If you can tell me that shit over the phone, yeah, this dude is a grown ass baby who either really wants some validation through somebody canceling all they shit to tend to him, or he don't want his girlfriend to go to no party. And then that passive aggressive, look who cares about me again, bro. That's in a relationship in a statement for me.
Sure is, because I would immediately hung the fuck up. Because you being a bitch and I'm tired and I'm going to say something I can't take back. So I'm just going to let you have this.
And I promise you, I will win callback chicken. If I hang up on you and I'm upset with you and you upset with me, I'm going to win callback chicken. Or we'll never talk again. That's not a game you want to play with somebody like me. We'll just never talk again.
Nope. And I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll sleep just fine.
Especially if you acting like that, because I'm already out the door when you start acting like that. This is one of those situations where I'll have to call on point and be like, hey, listen. Because, I'll be ready to close the door really fast. And I'm there. Because this motherfucker's still lost his mind.
This is one I'll be like, cut him loose. Cut him loose. That passive aggressive. I wonder how long they've been together. I don't know. I don't think it matters.
No, it don't. Because you just being a bitch. And I can't. With your bitch ass behavior. Let's see. I have, am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to be more flexible for me? I have, am I the asshole for lying to my wife when I lost my job? I am I the asshole for not walking a school acquaintance to her car at night? Would I be the asshole for not wanting a woman I used to bully at my wedding? You already bullied the bitch. You ain't gonna take. And am I the asshole for saying it's my wife's fault that my slacks didn't get packed for my work trip? Pack your own pants, bitch.
That ain't what you say to the fellas, though.
So what?
That ain't what you say to the fellas, though.
What do you mean?
He said, am I the asshole for saying that?
I'm the asshole for saying it's my wife's fault.
Meaning that he's telling somebody else outside of his wife that why he ain't got his britches. Meaning
he told her.
He telling the people.
Maybe.
Why is it for saying? You do that one.
Okay. Let's see. Hi, first time poster. My wife, a 30-year-old female, and I, a 31-year-old male, have been married for about 7 years now. I decided to go on a last-minute work trip, which caused me to have to book flights, hotel, etc., late at night and then fly out the next day. I needed new work slacks for the trip since I've primarily been working from home and in my current company. I've primarily been working from home in my current company, so we had to make a late night run to the local Walmart to get a few pairs. We also got some button-up shirts. When we got home, I had some stuff to finish up with the planning, so I asked my wife to wash my new clothes so that my shirts weren't so wrinkly. I handed her the shirts to wash separately and put the pants in the dirty laundry. While they washed, she packed my suitcase and then added the shirts when they were done. When it came time to leave, I verified everything was packed by asking her if she packed my pants. She said yes. Cue to the late night flight when I arrived at my hotel and my slacks aren't in there. Only my brown khakis and gray khakis. I called her pretty upset asking about where my slacks were. She got defensive and told me she thought she packed all my clothes. I laid them out on the bed beside the stuff to be washed and told me they should be in there. I made her check the laundry room to be sure, and she looked around the whole house before finding them in our bedroom laundry basket unwashed. I repeated a few times how I was frustrated that she hadn't packed them, but she told me that she did. She said she didn't realize by pants I meant my slacks, and that she was busy trying to do other stuff and just had a memory of packing some pants with all the other things I laid out. She also said it was unreasonable for me to be upset with her when they are my pants, and she didn't think she was expected to do a whole second load of laundry at midnight. In the end, she attempted to make me feel better by saying it would be okay and my work will understand that sometimes things get a bit hectic with packing and traveling last minute, and I can buy more in the evening, hopefully. I kind of feel bad because I could tell she was frustrated with me for blaming her, but in my defense, I did ask her if she had packed everything.
That's it.
That's it.
This is the dumbest, most arbitrary, stupid ass shit I done ever heard in my goddamn life. Like splitting hairs. God damn. And second off, are we supposed to wash clothes after we buy this shit from Walmart? Where we get it from? I do not wash no clothes.
Some people, well, because it's in the store with people like touching them and stuff.
Bro, I do not give a fuck. I ain't putting that shit in my mouth. What the fuck? Why I need to wash some pants that's gonna go on my ass after I just bought them? That don't make. And they said to get the wrinkles out. If nothing, washing them add more wrinkles.
Why would you hand her the shirts to wash and then put clean new pants in a dirty laundry bag? Because I wouldn't have went and washed the shit in the basket either. Like, because I wouldn't assume that your simple ass would put new pants in the dirty laundry basket and think that I'm gonna know that that's where the fuck the pants are. It's too much. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh Jesus. But yes, he did say it to her. Not, well, no, he basically told her it was her fault. He did an update. I accept that I am the asshole and have apologized to my wife. She responded graciously and told me she knows a lot of it was just my stress from traveling and worrying about work. We are good now, and I promise to do better in the future. Thanks to everyone who engaged with me civilly in the comments. Showed my wife the post, and she says that she's a little surprised at how angry everyone else was. Especially some individual messages that some were very angry people decided to send me. They probably handed him his ass. Let's see. We got time for like one more. I want to know what he expects his girl. Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to be more flexible for me? I just feel like, again, if you're asking this, it's some unreasonable ass shit.
Maybe it's like sexual flexible.
I, a 33-year-old male, and my partner, a 36-year-old female, have been together for 2.5 years. We live about 50 miles drive apart, but living in Sydney, that's not a huge distance for locals. Oh, they're in Australia. I admit that she has done the majority of travel to me in our relation because she has a teenage daughter at home, so it's just better if we stay at mine more often. Last week, my partner had breast surgery. It was a fairly major surgery, and we expected her recovery pain to be pretty high. I asked her to come to my house to recover because I work full time, and it's only 20 minutes to my home from my work. She is insistent she would rather be in her own home because her home is more comfortable with her own bed, her familiar homey things around her. Her friends live close by, and she has air conditioning. Currently, summer in Australia, and I don't. Well, bitch, that's it. The air conditioning is enough for me. I'm in pain, and you want me to come lay up in your hot ass motherfucking place without AC? You're insane. I'm not doing that. Just that by itself. Fuck all the rest of it. The AC in the summer, and in Australia looked like it would be hot as fuck in the summer. I picked her up from the hospital. took her to her home and stayed with her for the first night. The next day, I went to work and took the keys to her building so I could let myself in after work because getting out of bed to answer the door would be difficult for her. I finished work at 5 p.m. that day, and the thing is, I'm on a training program in the gym, so the gym is very important to me. I knew she was alone from midday that day, and she called me from bed telling me she couldn't get out of bed and was stuck on her back because of the pain. She hadn't been to the toilet in nearly 6 hours. Her friends couldn't get into the building because it's a security building and her daughter was at an event. I decided to go to the gym after work before going to help her. While I was at the gym, she called to tell me her neighbor had managed to get into her home to help her out of the bed. She was a bit embarrassed because she doesn't know her neighbor very well and she had to get help in the toilet. When she heard I was at the gym, she became pissed off. Her neighbor had just helped her, so I can't see what the problem is. Really? Really? You can't see what the problem is. The next night, I was exhausted after work. She wanted me to come and stay with her again. I have an allergy that makes me tired when it flared up. You just got so many excuses. So I just went home after and stayed at mine instead. She slept alone at her house. I had to call a friend in the night to come and help her with the pain management. Now my girlfriend is hugely pissed off and thinks that I have been no support. I told her it can't be her way all the time. And if she had just came to stay with me, then I would have treated her like a queen. I also don't see why her daughter hasn't helped more. Where she thinks I may be the asshole is because she thinks her recovery should be about what she wants, not what suits me. Where I may be the asshole is because I made my needs a priority over helping her after surgery. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand why he don't understand why he's the asshole. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, sir, first off, you're salty because she didn't come stay with you. That's the big issue. You wanted her to come stay with you. She said no, and you're salty as fuck now. And it feels like you making her pay for that shit. That's what it feel like. I'm gonna go to the. She told you she ain't been to the bathroom in 6 hours, bro. And it don't even sound like. I don't know if you knew that the neighbor had help before you went to the gym, but god damn, still go check on her. That's called support. You support people that you fuck with like that. Like,
she's been willing to drive 50 minutes to see you for the majority of your relationship. She gets down and can't do that. And listen, let me tell you something. Anybody that has ever been sick or recur, I've never had I had sinus surgery. So that was the first surgery I ever had in 2020. I would not have wanted to go back to somebody else's fucking house to recover from that. And that wasn't even like a major surgery, but I was in pain. I want to be in my house where I'm comfortable. I want to sleep in my bed where I know I have everything. Because I had to sleep sitting up for like the first 2 nights. I couldn't lay down because I would have drowned in whatever the fuck. So I had to sleep sitting up. I want to be in my fucking house. I don't want to recover at your house. And I'm going to just look, okay, based off of men that I've seen, your home doesn't look like my home. Your home doesn't have the things that my home has. I want to be in my space. I don't want to be in your minimalistic ass space with no AC. You're insane. And you let her have to have a neighbor who she don't know help her go pee. You know how embarrassing it is for her? And then the next night, you didn't even come over to see her even then because you have an allergy that makes you tired. You're a bitch. And I hope she breaks up with you. Because that is very indicative of what their relationship is going to look like were y'all to get together. That is some selfish ass shit. That's so sad. You heard her say, I haven't peed in 6 hours. And you said, okay, what's another hour? I'm going to just go to the gym. You're a dick. So awful.
you know, and some dialogue going on in the TikTok streets is about how 80% of women initiate divorce. Now, a lot of men use that as a rhetoric to say women leave men at high rates, but they don't take into account the reasons that women are leaving these relationships, not understanding that men are in bulk a pretty big problem in a lot of instances. But what they don't talk about is how men leave women at a very high rate when they get sick. Like when they get sick, men leave. And this is an indicator of that. Like taking care of somebody that you love or so-called love that is hurt and in pain, you still can't put that on the priority. Like, you still got to put yourself first. Like, men can't even see themselves having to tend to a partner the way that women tend to them, because she be there with a bowl of soup for your ass if you had a little cough and she felt like you needed somebody. But she in here in pain and you can't even go visit her because you're salty. You don't deserve to be with somebody, bro.
People eat him up in these comments. A lot of people are like, is he for real? Like, oh, is it? Wait.
What?
His username for Reddit, if somebody mentioned this, and I didn't even pay attention. See, I never really look at people's username. My demanding girlfriend is his
What?
username on Reddit.
Wow.
I didn't even pay that any attention. Oh my God. Sir. Somebody said his username is literally my demanding girlfriend. Like, I don't think being able to use the bathroom every 6 hours is after a surgical procedure is demanding. Fuck this dude. He's going to show up on Am I the Devil and they will roast him. They don't have rules about being nice to assholes. Am I the devil? Let's see. That's a subreddit. Oh God. I can't be in here.
What's
I
wrong with
can't.
you?
It's just the very first post that I see. Have you noticed even chicks well into their late 30s and 40s think they can afford to be picky? That's the first.
Yeah, you probably don't want to double dabble in that situation.
This seems like oh my God, this seems terrible. Am I the asshole for not getting rid of my dog? It's been my wife twice and we have a baby on the way. Sir. What? Let me tell you something. I love Remy. Okay, that's my dude. All right. But if he started biting people, that's a problem. And y'all got it. What happened when you gonna let him bite the baby too? That's beyond. Am I the asshole for calling his sister spoiled and saying she could go to foster care?
Yeah, we're gonna have to explore that one at some point.
Am I the asshole for throwing out my husband's grandmother's ashes when I redecorated without consulting him? What?
Why would you do that?
Why? There's no good reason. There's no good reason for you to do that. Am I the asshole? Several of my friends and coworkers are mad at me because I had my beer party. I had my beer and party beer at a party I hosted last night. Oh, so you had your beer that you like, that's your favorite, and then you had like cheap beer for everybody else. I'm assuming is what my beer and party beer is. Which, I mean, y'all ain't get my expensive shit.
I mean, yeah, you're not getting the expensive shit, but like, you just fucking yourself up as a viable host in the future. Like, it ain't. I mean, they not coming to your next event, bro. Unless you're super fun but selfish.
What kind of listen? I was trying to. How much? Nah, I don't have time to read it. But I was trying to see, like, did he get just like the most cheap, terrible beer you can get? He's a huge fan of IPA. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't drink beer because it's a taste I never acquired. So I don't really. It all tastes the same to me. Am I the asshole for stealing? They put it in quotation marks. My child's birthday money.
Wow.
Yes,
We're gonna
you
have to
are.
explore this thread. Am I the devil?
It's called Am I the Devil? Apparently they like don't have as many rules about how you can respond to the people. Why would you take
Understandable.
your kid? But you know what? So my mom, my mom's dad, so my maternal grandfather was an alcoholic, and his family is he the one? Yeah, he from Ohio. So he would have family come down that would visit when my mom and her siblings were kids, and they would give him money to take them out to buy them things. Now keep in mind, my mom was born in '57, so this is like pretty far back where like shit was like a nickel and shit. He would take the money, go to the store, buy one ice cream sandwich, and make them split it up into threes. Because at the time it was just her and two of her sisters. The brother, I don't think he had been born yet, and he just keep the rest of the money. And she said he did that every time. He would go buy them one thing for them to split. So that I guess technically he could say he did use the money to buy them stuff, but he'd keep the bulk of the rest of the money. He'd just keep it and not buy them anything else. Now, keep in mind, they were ridiculously poor because my grandfather was such an alcoholic that he would lose jobs behind his drinking. So there were long periods of time where he wasn't working. And this was back when women, so when I hear men lament about how great it was and how, you know, Black families used to stay together and now, women just leave. Your grandma wanted to leave and she fucking couldn't. Okay, let's not sit up here and act like all of these women stayed because they were just happy with your fucking pawpaw. Okay, your pawpaw was a dick. But she couldn't go nowhere because where the fuck is she gonna go with no education and no ability to get a job that's gonna be able to support the children that she had with this raggedy Negro? Y'all be killing me with that shit. Like they used to stay together because out of duress, where they gonna go? That's like people got so mad at Kanye when he said slavery was a choice and that they could have uprose and left anytime and they stayed. That's exactly what the fuck you're saying when you say that shit about, oh, they used to stay. Yeah, they did because they ain't had nowhere else to go. Women can leave now. And if you actually had conversations with women from that era, instead of just sitting around and just talking out of your ass, you would know that a lot of them were not happy. My grandfather, because my grandmother couldn't work, and he wouldn't work for most of the year. He would lose jobs because he was drinking. And so they were very poor, got bullied in school about how poor they were. Like holes in their shoes, but still got to wear them, like in the soles of the shoes kind of shit, like bad poor, because he couldn't hold a fucking job. And my grandmother stayed with him because where the fuck else was she? My grandma never even learned how to drive. Like she left this earth without even knowing how to drive. She'd never driven a day in her life. So, y'all be killing me with that shit. Really and truly.
I mean,
Just because somebody stays in a situation does not mean that they're happy if they don't. The way you know if somebody's happy is if they choose to stay with you. If you give them the ability to leave, they can leave at any point and they decide they still want to be there with you, then that's how you know that they happy and they staying with you because they want to be there. But when you lock them in the house where they can't never fucking leave and then say, well, she's still here, so she's not happy just because she's there. If she doesn't have any out, y'all kill me with this shit, bro. Y'all kill me with this shit. But yeah, parents taking your kids' money, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. If somebody gives your kid money for their birthday, for their good grades, whatever, that's their money. And you can't say, oh, I can use this money to help pay for your shoes. That is your job as a parent to provide those things. That's not what that money is for. That money is a reward for whatever the fuck, the kid's birthday, their grades, whatever the reason is, it's their money. You can't use that to then say, oh, I'm gonna use this to take care of you. No, that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. You can't do that shit. Shit's fucked up. But anyway. Yeah, I'll go through that subreddit and see if I feel like I'm just gonna be ranting, but
probably, yeah.
I'll see if I can find a few from the subreddit. But yeah. But that's it.
Well, you got anything else on your mind?
I do not.
All right. Well, until we come to the next conversation,
We out.
holla.